gluing and the putty combination has worked quite well. It's really, really strong. Okay, so we can get back to assembling the torso. That's all nicely cleaned up. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun getting the colours right for this. We could start colour selection tonight depending on how fast we get things assembled. And if it goes really well, might even be able to prime, but that's really ambitious. No putty in sight. Quick look at the... Now with all that tension and popping polycaps in and ball joints and all that, that has not split the seam. Fantastic. The hips are a bit tricky. I want to remove the weird T string or G string or whatever the underwear combination is. So I only want to sand around it. But then I sort of want to scuff the paint off the actual underwear as well. That way primer can get onto it a lot easier. But if you're doing a snap job, you want to be really careful with this component because you can mess it up pretty easily like I have. Yeah, it's coming together well so far. The putty and the glue hairs seem to have separated fairly easy enough. Move on to 400 grit. And in theory, when it's painted, there will be no seams. The underwear, however, will need to be hand painted by yours truly. It probably won't be as neat as what the factory's done, but I shall give it a fair shot. And finally, 2000 grit sandpaper. And we'll give everything a good buffing. I forgot to do the underbit. Cool. Kind of want to crack out my materia and work on that as well after having to go with this. I think when I'm done my second frame arm girl, materia could be third. Excellent. Beef jerky break. I made a whole jar of beef jerky. Actually made a few jars. Gave some to some friends, family, all that jazz. So, at the foot. The foot's all sanded around. And we give it a bit of a polish. And this foot is going to be practically seamless. It's going to be almost like it was like one of those figures or toys or something. Do the other foot. Just going to quickly check something. Cool. These small bits are very hard to contour around the hand and sand. You come to think of it, this foot's going to be a pain in the ass to mount and airbrush. There's not really a sufficient mounting point. Well, we're going to have to figure that out. We're going to have to figure that out tonight. There we go. Thighs. Thighs for days. Oh, lots of sanding. Oh, Morpher 87. Howdy. I can't fap to this. Yeah, you can. Why not, man? Should be able to. I would. It's yeah, just a case of sitting here and doing a very an endurance stream, seeing how long I could keep a stream going. My record is 7 hours last night, so the attempt is to go a lot further than that. I am building Innocentia, frame arm girl, very, very new kit, released very recently. Had it for a little while as soon as it came out. And the idea was I just thought it'd be a bit fun to build over the Easter break. And I'm documenting the whole build process on camera. So I thought that would be pretty interesting. Open for suggestions on topics, answering questions, asking questions, or whatnot. There we go. It's what are we in? 40 minutes in, almost done all the sanding. So my prediction of getting all the sanding done is could be pretty accurate. You play on having it done by Monday? Yes, I would like to try to have it done, painted, and photos up by Monday evening. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I don't want to rush it. If it does happen, then that would be pretty sweet. And the stream will be done over 4 sessions. The first one, 7 hours yesterday, was from runners to the collection of parts that I got now. The goal yesterday was to at least get everything done that needed gluing and seam line filling. And right now I'm sanding out those seam lines. Today's the goal to have the rest of it done, which should be too hard. Mounting it on pegs and having paint selected for painting on Sunday. And Monday, hopefully, it would probably be just hand painting small details, applying a sludge wash, a top coat, and gluing her finally together. Though if the paint is still not quite cured or not quite right, then I'm not going to push that too hard, and then it'll just be done before the end of the week, more or less. But to have it so close to being done that it's practically done, that would be pretty cool. So I still would like to have a bit of quality behind it. It's not really it's not too much of a just a whatever or a mental or quick build. Definitely want to do this as a half decent build, and as the show Arm Frame Girls, the anime, is streaming or live at the moment, I thought it'd be interesting to have a model out as everyone's excited about it, buying the models and all that sort of stuff. So good for business. But yeah, getting all the seams removed, the molding lines removed, nub marks, and shading it, toning it, and airbrushing it so it looks almost like the box art. That's a bit of a challenge, but I think I can do it. And looking at the box art, I think there's not going to be a lot of washing done. It's mostly flesh, the hair, the eyes. Doesn't need any detailing or panel lining, so the rest of it, just the core set, will. So that would be very quick. Always better to enjoy your work rather than rush it. I also have been enjoying building all weekend. Yeah, I think East is just one of those things where if you have your religious or family commitments, you go out and do that. And yeah, you just rock out and you've got 3-4 days of just constant building and relaxing. Normally, my line of work, I'm required to work over Easter. But this Easter, I have not really landed on any shifts. And I've got a lot of work in the office for me starting Tuesday for a good 6-7 days straight. So not looking forward to that, but thought I'd take advantage of it by starting a fresh build and finishing it by the end. Thought a bit of a marathon challenge would be the world of good because I've got half a dozen projects on the go and I just swap from one to the other, and it'd be really good just to focus on one thing for once. It's probably not that good, but I thought it'd be fun. Get a kit done and it'd just be really, really good. Though I did finish that Yukari resin kit a few days ago, or more like a week ago. But yeah, I've only done one Arm Frames Girl kit, and that took me 9 months to do. So I associate these as being very hard, long time, lots of parts. And I've started another Arm Frame Girl kit, and that's got more parts and more detail and more difficulty, and I want to do a fancy polished color scheme on it. So that's going to take like a year to do, on and off. And to have this one done in 4 days would be pretty refreshing. But it's really funny just to assemble this collection of parts. It took 7 hours. But yeah, it's no rush, all endurance. I'm not sitting around on Facebook, not playing video games or watching TV, just smashing out a good kit. And then when the long weekend is over and I look back, I go, yeah, I've challenged or achieved quite a bit. Also got another laptop next to me, and I'm watching a show. The last couple of times I've done a stream, it got a bit boring because it's just looking at the chat, looking at my screen, and talking to fill void. Now, if chat's a bit quiet, I'll go a bit quiet, and when prompt, very, very happy to communicate and talk back. And it's also interesting to document the whole process of how long it takes to do a task, how much detail I put into it, how much attention, how I exactly remove a nub or remove a seam or whatnot, and just have the whole thing step by step, the good bits, the bad bits, and the ultra super boring bits that probably a lot of people miss out and don't ask or don't know, because I probably don't think it's important or interesting enough to put into a YouTube tutorial or video. So if someone is super keen and watches or fast forwards through this very lengthy video project, they might be able to pick up a little information in research that other YouTubers haven't really done. I know a lot of other people also stream model building. A lot of it is gunpla or military kits, and it's probably more so just cutting, snapping, and assembling. So got this done. Seam filled. That upper bit's got a bit of glue on the arm. And it was very, very sloppy of me. But yeah, a lot of the modeling process is tedious, but just that tediness is just lost in tutorials and lost on people. Some people sort of want to have a model instantly done by some god hands, by some Gundam markers, have a high grade or a master grade done in an afternoon or a period of 2 days. It's good that being multiple days, I've had 24 hours to allow this putty to dry. When I was a lot younger, I had a few friends into Warhammer and stuff, and would have modelling marathons. We would have a sleepover, watch a movie, drink lots of Coke, eat a pizza, and buy a tank or a couple of figures and see how far we can get assembling it and building it over an overnight period or a night and a day. And you can normally get quite a bit done, but as kids, your standards are a little lower, you're a bit sloppier, but you're a lot happier with your work. And what everybody always says, your stuff is really cool. And nowadays, doing something in a whole kit, no matter what sort of kit, in a 24-hour or 48-hour period, just seems so daunting. It's not funny, where a kid would look at it and go, yeah, that's easy, and they just hack straight into it. I did admit when I looked at the runners, it was very daunting, and I was like, ugh. But getting this deep now, it's sort of like, yeah, it's realistic. I think it can be done. I've got a friend coming over tomorrow. I'll be snapping my Gunpla Builders World Cup kit. Fantastic, man. A lot of people I've seen on Facebook and some groups are using this weekend as their opportunity to start and get a ton of work done on their Gunpla Builders World Cup kit. I've been very steady on mine since just late December last year, and I've been on and off it, and I've got a ton achieved on it. I thought taking a bit of a break and looking at it with fresh eyes, a bit of a mental build would not be a bad idea. Though having a Gunpla Builders World Cup focused Easter weekend is a fantastic idea. Can't knock you there whatsoever. What happens to be your what kit are you entering for the Gunpla Builders World Cup? What's your idea? Like a diorama or a custom, or focusing on a particular core kit? Whew. Okay. So it's all polished with 1000 grit sandpaper. Well, two more pieces to sand, and that would hit the 1 hour mark. Oh, I forgot. And this is the this would be the trickiest bit. I thought I was doing the trickiest bit first, but I'll be using some LEDs and fairly large base. You'll hear about it soon enough. I'm sure I am keeping a bit under the wraps. I can definitely respect that. I was very quiet about my build last year. Normally I make a public spectacle of it, and this year I've gone back to doing the same thing. But LEDs is very good. Sometimes LEDs, if you're looking at something that's real and very realistic, they can be a tad too intense. And even though they're intense, they're very eye-catching, but sometimes they're so eye-catching they take attention away from the actual build itself. So it's good that if there's a way that you can use resistors or diodes to sort of what's the term, dim, or not have it as intense. It blends in with everything, or you can have it very intense and it catches the eye and you lose where you did other work. Or instead of having the LEDs in the model looking at the model, you've got the LEDs in the base looking at the model, and the model's highlighted. In that regards, then as intense as the LEDs, the better. But when they're used as a mono eye or something, they could be eye-catching, but yeah, not too strong, because at first it looks really cool, but then no one's looking at any other cool aspect of your kit. Resistors can be used, yeah, or a microcontroller. The voltage output, yeah, those Arduinos and all that are pretty good if you want to get a flasher circuit in and have lights chasing or doing effects, probably fading in and out. Faders could be cool. Lots of options with that sort of stuff. I do a lot of electrical engineering and electrical tech stuff for work. I sort of get a bit bored of it when it comes to working on my models. It's sort of, I don't really want to wire stuff up and stuff. It's sort of like too much like work. I found this. It's a little fairy light setup for the garden. It's got a small solar power output. I've been testing for a few days, allowing it to soak up energy. It's got a bit of battery. It's got a bit of an LED. I'm going to put a sphere around it, or embold it in a clear frosted sphere and have it like an explosion effect in the background. So I think that would be cool. And once that's sitting in the cabinet in the Gunpowder Builders World Cup, they could be soaking up energy day and night, and the light will be on day and night. Yeah. So, in the very small, unlikely chance that mine wins and sits in a cabinet somewhere in Tokyo, there's going to be enough light source that during the day and night that the thing is always going to be glowy and pretty and all that sort of stuff. So that's the only LED my project's going to have. The way I sourced it is a funny story too. Mm. Probably stole it from someone's front yard while pissed. Yeah, that's true. I definitely did that. Then I found out the same model is sold at Daiso, and that they only paid $280 for it, so I felt less bad. Though it was pretty close to the curb. I reckon if it's within 2 steps of a stumbling drunk person and it's lit up, it belongs as the drunk person's treasure. And yeah, having a stolen item on a Gunpla Builders World Cup entry is pretty funny. Another thing is the house in question was also right across the road from the train station. The fact it's been there for that long is a miracle. I hope the owner doesn't notice it when it appears in a YouTube video or at the competition. Oi, did you steal that? Yeah, mate. Here's your $2.80. Alright. I hope this gets done before my hands hurt. Now we'll change the grit, polish it up, make the material all nice and even around the whole project. How bad was your burnout from the last year's Gunpla Builders World Cup? Oof, it was pretty big, especially around 3D printed models, not so much around scale models itself. Spending a good 3 months almost straight sanding 3D printed objects. I haven't really had much involvement with 3D models for a while. I do have one project that a guy catted for me and I printed out, and I've been hacking at that slowly and looking at doing some new methods and whatnot, but just haven't had the motivation to jump onto that. I've got some 3D printed stuff to do for this Gunpla Builders World Cup entry, but I've got a completely different way of attacking it. And then taking the piece, casting it in resin and working on the resin. It should be a complete new process. This year I've been very, very steady on it, so there's not going to be any final big rush or panic. So not as concerned, and that's why I can freely work on projects like this and whatnot. Though I think by next month, I'll start taking a backseat at the projects and start making the Gunpla Builders World Cup entry a little more priority and start getting those AutoCADed pieces finished, printed, and starting to incorporate in the main project. But the skeleton and the main body of the kit is practically done. Diorama is so simplistic, it's not funny. And it's just adding those extra parts on. The painting is also not too difficult and can be easily done in a short period of time, but there is a lot of buffing and polishing to get a higher sheen. So last year, getting that whole ship together was it was pretty crazy. It was a lot of fun though. I don't regret it. That's for sure. So this year, the goal is not to have a burnout. That's why the project is a lot less ambitious, not as exciting, and a lot easier. Though I'll focus in putting polish, spit, and refinement to it to make it a little more refined, detailed, and competitive. There we go. All right. So this is the last piece to remove the seam line, and then that is done with seam lines for this project. The rest will all be just assembly, which is good because the sandpaper is just about to die on me. When I'm done with sanding the seams, I'll take a quick 2 5 minute drink break and yeah, keep resuming, I suppose. Need a piss too. Should have thought of that before you started the stream. Yeah, but I'll be streaming for about 7 to 9 hours, so nah. Let's see how we go. So doing the inner kneecap, what I'd normally do if I had plenty of time is I'll assemble it, I'll put putty, I'd leave it. Next day I'll sand it, and then glue the next pieces, then seam line it. Drink, sure. Uh, yeah, I'm not going to go for a thap or anything. I already did that before the stream. And I didn't do it in the same room as the camera. I learnt that mistake from the other guys that did that. Uh, I'm going to save the alcohol for a little later because that's dehydrating. But, yeah, drink. You're dehydrated talking a lot. Talking shit non-stop. Lots of talking. Yeah, talking to other people who stream and whatnot. Yeah, some of the advice they give me is lots of snacks, lots of fluids. And you're all fine. Go for a cup of milk, actually. I think that's what my next beverage will be. Also got a good old jar of beef jerky. Homemade too. And that's pretty much the sanding done. Hour of 15 minutes, not too bad. You looking forward to the new Gundam UC series? Twilight Access, pretty much. Focus on Zaku 3s and other obscure Xeon mobile suits. Probably what I'm not looking forward to is the model line because it's going to be more models to buy. I think it'd be fun if they're going on the same wavelength as Thunderbolt and Origin. It should be a pretty decent story. Probably a bit short. I don't think it's going to be another 20 something or 50 something episode thing. If it is, that'd be awesome. But if it's just a shortish OVA thing, that could be very cool. I'll be back.